almost didn't throw the white flag. I was going to give you one more lap.
The 9 running on the tires. He'll slide up off of turn number 4, Jerry. You've got a new race leader, Matthew Loeb. Your race leader with 4 laps to go.
All right, who told you to tell that joke?
Hey, welcome back. It's episode 15, where today we're going to learn so many important things as Jim is going to show us how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
You got it. Does he have one with him?
Jesus Christ. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Jim's got to go. It'll be the best one yet.
Did you guys rehearse that? Or
No, but I was watching TV last night, and I saw that old Tootsie Pop and the owl commercial like
1,
4
2,
times.
3, crunch.
And it reminded me of like
3.
the way he talked. It was like that Magoo guy from Super Nationals with the funny hat. Uh-huh. And the bottle of wine back
It's
here.
been a minute since we've talked, Jerry. What can we do to add another minute to that?
Like Happy Jim in that picture.
That's right.
Yeah, look at that
Jim's
picture.
got a bottle of
Can
wine.
you get tuned in on this picture of Jim there? Look
Bottle
the
of
way,
wine?
Yeah, he's look at the way he looks at it. It's like, I must drink another one of these
Yeah.
again.
That is my sitting under the bridge drinking a bottle of wine pose.
You nailed it.
That was
You really did.
that was after he climbed out of his sleeping tent at Super Nationals.
He showed up to Super Nationals with that hat this year, and I didn't even recognize him.
That's it.
He went by me twice, and I was like,
I was like, who the hell's
Does that
that?
protect you from the sun or to hide from people? Incognito.
Yeah.
Look like Jim Backus, Mr. Magoo.
exactly.
We called him Magoo all week.
Yeah, and then he took the hat off, and then didn't wear
We
it.
still
Well,
called him Magoo, though.
It was based on the weather. When we went from summer to fall, then back into spring weather.
So that was your summer hat.
That was my
So
summer
your
hat.
your fall and spring hat were the same. hat.
No, because I went stocking hat one day, I think, and then into the other hat.
It's Mr. Magoo hat.
Yeah.
I like the Magoo look.
I did. It was.
I
you know,
thought so.
it was
I
different.
thought it was fitting.
Made you look like the crotchety old grumpy, cranky man that you are.
See, it's
So-
He
amazing.
dressed for the
He
occasion.
did. He played the role well.
Come on. It's a newer, kinder, gentler, happier Jim.
That ended
a
January
dick, though.
2nd. You and New Year's resolutions didn't work real well, Jim.
Oh, God. Let's talk about important shit.
It's been about 3 weeks since our last podcast. 2.5.
In a lot of people's
17
minds,
days.
not quite long
17
enough.
days.
Yes.
October 9th.
And a lot's happened.
It has. We've actually made our champions official.
So what we told you last time
Is now official.
was
now
who we
official.
thought
We meant it.
might be the national champions.
We meant it this time. Even
We
the dogs
really
agree.
did.
Yeah, see,
Even the
yeah,
dog.
even the dogs agree. They're like, yeah, it's official.
I thought I
Yep.
stepped on one.
One bark means yes.
There it is.
They, on cue.
Way to go, Brett.
You trained them well.
Yes, we trained them to bark at people. See?
See?
Hey.
So one bark means yes, and 2 barks means yes.
Let me out of the
twice.
room.
So we can officially sit here and say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we know our national champions right now.
We do.
We do?
Yeah.
Did they change from
No.
last time?
They have
Well,
not.
Everybody
we're
was
going to
said
keep
that.
you in suspense.
So you have to show up Thanksgiving weekend in Lincoln to
Right.
figure out who they are? Is that
Another
what you're
month.
saying?
Month from tomorrow.
Invitations have been sent out.
Month from
They have.
yesterday.
You got one, Jerry?
I got one yesterday in the
Holy
mail. And
shit.
I
Somebody's gonna pay for it.
See, I told you I was normally in the conversation when it comes to inviting promoters. And I missed it.
appreciate it. It said, "Love Jim." Open this envelope, and in that envelope was $500. So I appreciate that $500 invitation.
You did get the right invitation to the banquet on Christmas Eve in Minot, North Dakota, because that's when we
No,
moved.
this
Oh,
one was actually on Christmas Day in Maui. So
you show up, we'll all be there waiting for you.
I bet you won't.
So Baca got it done in the mods.
With 4 track championships.
Yeah, 3. I think he's the only person to get 4. I think, if my notes are correct.
Where did he? Do you have the list of the tracks?
I do.
Central Arizona, Cocopah,
And Deuce of Clubs. But then he also won the stock car track championship
Oh,
as
okay.
well at the Deuce of Clubs. So he
never would've got that
multi-division
Yeah,
for
that one I wouldn't have gotten that.
No.
So he's fast in 2 cars.
He's just fast.
Yeah.
Very good. And he led the points, for
He
essentially
has.
the whole year.
Yes.
I mean, he was good out of the gate.
Yeah, he was it.
Yeah, I didn't.
We had 1 point leader all year.
I don't.
Chaz Baca.
I might have that some of that information
I don't
on.
know. Has it happened before? It hasn't happened in recent memory.
Well, 9 times out of 10, he usually leads points till
Right.
about June.
Yeah.
But this year,
This year, he led her all the way through.
He did. No, he didn't. Tim Ward, I think, led the first month out of Kokopah.
Yeah, because he had more wins.
that's true.
Correct. I've got those stats. I'll try to find them here slowly. You guys talk about something else while I do this.
Brett has stats. I'm sorry.
That'd be like me having information.
You having any type of knowledge. That's
Baca took the lead in February and never looked back,
pretty good.
That's pretty damn good.
as opposed to Mike Nichols, who took the lead in what month for the for the stock cars?
I'm going to say August.
September.
I think he took the lead earlier than that. I think.
It was
July. Mike took the lead in July. Shelby Williams, actually Zach Madrid led it for the first 2 months, coming out of obviously the Western Region races.
Brett dropping knowledge over.
wow.
Then
It's like he
Special
actually-
thank you to Public
Stand-
Relations
I can
Director
read.
Bill Martin for all
like he
this
actually-
knowledge.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like for a change, he paid attention to
I
what
can
happens
read this
in
stuff.
the world.
It's interesting stuff to me. Shelby Williams took the lead in March, and he led it through June, when then Mike took over and won his 12th national championship this year. 12.
How many track champions from Mike Nichols?
Oh gosh, I don't think I have that.
487.
I think he won 2 this year.
Won
Two this year?
I think.
Yeah, he won most of these. I think if they need to win 2, most are national champions have won 2.
Yeah, 'cause he
Which
would've
tracks?
won. Yeah.
I'm going to go
Harlan.
Harlan. Not Denison.
I don't think he won
No,
Dennis.
I think
think
he got.
he did.
Didn't he get you or
U.S. third.
No.
US
Lexington?
Lexington,
Lexington.
Dawson
Was it
County.
Lexington?
Dawson County.
Yeah,
There
so
you
he
go.
won.
What's
won
the
a Fri-
distance between Lexington and Harlan?
A long way.
Here,
It's a different
miles.
state.
here to here.
I
On my
can't-
map in my office, it's
They're
about
like
3.5
this
inches.
Here, I'll look it up.
Ryan?
On my map in my office, it's about 3.5 inches.
There's
Long
3 push
ways.
pins between it too.
I
Long
can.
ways.
I'm going to go on a limb here and say nobody has won 2 track championships that far away.
That's quite possible.
I don't know.
How far? Well, Kokopah and Deuce of Clubs.
That is a long
That's
ways.
a long ways away.
That's a
I
long
remember
ways.
when Chance Hollis won the Arizona State stock car points a few years ago.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
Because all the races out there were over winter, and he was able to.
And he was out there for the winter.
It's a ways.
6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah.
So
6 hours up the.
That's
up,
farther.
Up,
That's
I
even-
think that's going to be
farther.
farther.
But Baca lives in Phoenix, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mesa.
So he's in the middle.
So he's about 3 from each.
Yeah. Still a lot of driving.
No, it's a hell of a drive to get to Deuce of Clubs. You're going up mountains, if I remember right.
Yeah, you go up the
it over?
mountains.
In the hobby stocks, I know this stuff because Virginia gives me these stats or Bill gives me these stats. I don't have who was leading in August. I have that somewhere in my spreadsheet. I can't find it because I have so much crap on my desktop.
5 hours,
didn't-
51
We
minutes.
didn't break ties in August, so
Right. Olmsted, who won our hobby stock national championship, he did it on the tiebreaker,
Yeah.
which is quite. Did we talk about the last
a
time?
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't really
'Cause
hit on
I
that.
think
Track champions.
Mike Smith he had more wins, but he had more wins in like 60 some starts.
Right.
And your points are based off of your best 25 finishes in your first 50 starts.
I don't think Olmsted had a single month where he was leading the points.
Probably not.
This is kind of neat. We got new video. I'm sorry.
And Jim's not.
Yeah.
Jim's not.
Well, he's across the way. I mean,
Updated the year on our Super Nationals footage there. Nate and
I'd
Garrett
be
and
okay if he was
Chris and-
351 miles.
Who did all the graphics and everything?
we did.
Producer Nate.
Producer Nate.
See?
part of the awesome IMCA TV team.
Wasn't
Best-
that a band
best
in the
in the
80s? Oh, I'm
business.
thinking Menudo, not Ludo.
Yeah, not
Sorry.
Yeah, so Olmsted won another tiebreaker, so he didn't get any monthly awards, National Point Leader awards.
no plaque.
Like
And the reason
28
why-
to 27 wins or something like that.
Yeah.
It was one win different.
Yeah, the reason why I have this on my computer is because I have failed to send the August National Point Leader plaques out. So here it is, October. We've announced our national
Christmas
champions, and I'm still sending stuff out from the results in August. Oops.
I don't.
It happens.
It happens.
It's
Life
weird.
gets in the way. Life
Well,
gets in the way of work.
September is such a blur for most of us here, obviously, with the
why?
Super Nationals
Is there
and
something going on?
with the Super Nationals.
Oh, that thing.
And by the time we get back to the office, because we're all there, Virginia's not even doing
Realize
points.
it's almost November. It's
I-
not
I know
September.
that. I
Okay.
know.
Yeah, I mean, turkey's right around. Yeah, but we're gonna eat turkey in a couple
we got
days.
some-
September
We got the
goes
banquet.
by really fast. That's my point. So we
Oh,
missed
yeah,
that
first.
month.
Oh, tricks or treating. What are you going to be for tricks or treating, Jim?
Jerry Van Sickle.
Dang it, that's a scary
I'm going to
costume.
go scary this year.
Really? I've never heard anybody go as a mouth for Halloween before.
I just got to get a stupid haircut and talk. And a fat suit.
Oh, that no. The haircut and the mouth is funny. I don't like fat jokes.
Yeah, fatty. I think I'm going to dress up as Jim.
Stupid haircut,
Get
talk
a
a lot,
hat.
and a couple pillows. You got it nailed. Some stupid bright colored shoes that.
They're just red.
You keep them separated, Brett.
It's entertaining.
It is.
We had this conversation last night at my house about Halloween because the forecast for Iowa on Tuesday is just complete shit.
I remember one year trick or
It's junk.
treating as a kid in the snow, and then the next year was in the sleet.
The
And then
highest-
the next year was 90.
The high's 37, so my youngest obviously has been planning her. I think she's going to go as like cops and robbers or something like that for Halloween. That's her Halloween costume.
Jim, we could go good cop, bad
And
cop.
There we go.
My wife made the
bet.
comment last night. It's going to be so damn cold. She has to wear a winter coat. She's just going to go as an Iowan. And I'm like, that's kind of funny.
Let's
'Cause
see.
she hates the cold weather and she hates the holidays being ruined by cold weather.
Yeah,
and
we're
she
not even
thinks,
going to have time to get used to it, so it's really going to feel cold. Had it
Yeah, I mean,
been
today
cold
it's
for
like-
2 or 3 weeks, we'd be used to it. But
if it was this last Tuesday, it would be everybody'd be out. There would be no jackets, all that kind of stuff. But
I mean, even like tonight,
It's not like it's going to be balmy down in Waco.
what's it going to be?
45, high over 45 in Waco.
trick or treating in Waco, it's going to be warmer by 3 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom drops out tonight pretty much for the most
I
part.
think this weekend the weather here is
It's like
terrible.
crazy humid out there today.
What's Carson? How much?
10 inches of snow in St. Cloud tomorrow.
That's okay.
That's the forecast. So he's here. We're working on rules. So he's here.
Oh, so his wife is going to be happy at home.
He's
with 10
like,
inches.
I think he's probably going to head.
Oh, God. Freeze it.
Train's off the rails now, kids. How long did that
I don't
take?
care.
So,
I don't care if I'd
let's
be
talk
home or
about
where I
point
would be.
leadership.
10 inches would be pretty, 10 inches would be pretty good no matter where
Who
I
won?
was.
Get back to the hobby stock national champion, please.
Yeah.
Please.
The Big O. Is that
Olmsted,
Olmsted?
yeah.
Oh,
The big O. Oh, boy. Yeah, so then you got Dumpert, who took over the national point lead in May.
What did he win? Have I heard of that name before?
First time winner.
Five in a row.
he likes donuts.
What?
He likes donuts.
He likes donuts.
Like when he
Druki.
wins, he does donuts.
Druki took over in July with his national championship bid.
His went down to pretty much the last week.
The sprint cars did,
Yeah.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
the Leaguers
it did.
Junior had
Yeah.
a chance to.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had to go race head to head.
Our sport mods, our Northerns, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 different individuals leading our national points throughout the months. Spangler started the season with the first 2 months, then Crystal Hempel, March and April, then Cam Reimers,
Wow.
May and June, and then Loaf took over in July.
After he took the billboards down in Yuma.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his sixth?
That was in
sixth time?
January. Yeah.
Both could be 6, yeah.
That's probably wrote down here.
But not in a row.
Not in a row.
Not in a row.
No.
He had a couple of them in a row, though, I think.
Well, he's got I
2 or
think
3 in a
he's
row?
got 3 in a row right now, I think.
Our Southerns are kind of interesting. You got Cutter Spalding the first month of Southern Sport Mile Racing in February. Then you got Jeff Hauser. Then it switched to the Jarrett Branson, who led 3 months more than anybody this year. Then it switched to Jeff Shepard, who had who was leading our national points. He had lots of wins. And then when it all was finalized,
Bonus points.
points.
This is the one that made the
Jumped
bonus
David Phillips into our national championship for our Southern Sport Mods.
You want to win a national championship?
You got to win.
Got to race weekly.
Yeah.
points. Race weekly.
You gotta be dedicated to winning a track championship, and Phillips got that done and was close enough to jump the win gap that he had between Shepard, and there he is. Then we had Sport Compacts, again kind of similar, little jumping around. Kevin Reuter, first 2 months. Then
Any relation to Ryan Reuter?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
It's spelled the same, I think.
R-U-T-E-R?
R-E-U.
Oh,
R-E-U.
they're not related then.
No.
Ryan's R-U-T-E-R.
Yeah, he doesn't have an
Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have the E in there. Then Jacob Cordova.
name I haven't heard forever.
In March, then Sean Leisure. In April, went back to Cordoba. Then all of a sudden, here comes Colby Sabin to lead a couple of months. And then when it's all final, it jumps back to Randall Martin.
I think that's what's
Texas
so
driver.
neat that our
It's like,
point
where'd he
system,
come from?
You know what I mean?
Texas.
You look at these and it's like, what?
It's
But Leisure, who's in this list, is also our junior national champion. He won the junior national championship,
Dog
and
is
again,
pissed
first
on
time,
Darth Vader.
another Texas racer in the compacts, just like Randall Martin. Yep, you've got two Texas guys dominating at the end. They're at the final, which is kind of cool to me because you go back a few years ago in Texas, and none of them are running compacts. They're all running what they called the junior mini down there.
Yeah.
Lots of junior minis, or that was the division that they ran for, essentially for their younger division. Much different race car. It was more of a Pinto with a engine in the, with a I think they're rear wheel drive.
They were rear-wheel drive, and I think they could run like
Esslingers and all kinds of,
wheels
they ran some crazy. They got kind of expensive, but the compacts have kind of made a mark in the state of Texas for us. Lots of tracks running them, and you're seeing that now with our national championship and our junior national championship coming out of Texas, and also on our junior national championship, the first time somebody has won the junior national championship in the compact division, which is kind of cool as well.
yeah.
Then in our mod lights, Jace Reed jumped to Stevie Thrope in February. Thrope won it. Thrope, I think, is how you pronounce his last name. He led through May.
Thrope?
I remember
I think it's Thor.
Thrope or Thrope?
How's it spelled?
Throop.
Oh.
So it's kind of like Throop.
Thrope. You think it's Thrope?
I thought
There it is.
I'm saying Thrope.
There it is.
And then Rafferty came into play in June, and Rafferty has won, I believe it's his third straight
Yep, third in a row.
Stars Mod Light National Championship. And real quick on the Mod Lights, I do want to thank Brian Compart and Stealth Racing for jumping in as the title sponsor of that division this year. And it's
Brian
been
used
good.
to race and then started the business.
He's kind of part of that Mod Light Mafia kind of group. The core guys that when we first started doing Mod Lights with Jimmy, Brian has been attached to that from the onset. So
Great guy.
yeah, Kevin and Matt.
Yeah, Matt, Kevin, Jimmy. I mean,
Jimmy
they all
and
kind
Brian.
of were together, and
Yeah, those are the guys that were down. If I remember correctly, those were guys down at the Sugar Bowl when I went down there that
they
first
were
year
to Florida.
in Florida. So I call them kind of the core Mod Light guys. That's who the guys I identify with. I went to that first Mod Light race, and I said to Kevin, I was like, "You look really familiar. How have I seen? Where have I seen you before?" He goes, "Well, I do the lineups at the Super Nationals."
You've been there before, haven't you?
Oh, hey, yeah, I knew I seen you somewhere. Yeah, I've been there. So I chuckled. But and then we had Taylor Cool top. I already mentioned Leisure,
Right.
and then we had Taylor Cool lead and win our Lady Eagle Awards for.
She led that most of the year, didn't she?
I think so.
She was good all season long.
Yeah, she's been fast. She was fast last year, and that didn't miss a beat this year
yeah, it's crazy. Two female
in the
drivers
Northern
out of
Sportmon division.
Arizona win that back to back.
Yeah.
Shelby Elves won it last year.
Yep.
And if you do want to see the points breakdown, the champions, it is on the website. If you go to each tab at imca.com and click on whether it's national points, regional points, state points, or rookie points, all of the past champions for those categories are listed all time. So it's kind of neat to look through the history of some of the past champions and how this year's champions compare to be part of history. So
Yep. It is. Very cool.
damn
And
it,
congratulations. Congratulations all of our national champions. And obviously,
why do you bring these dogs? They're always doing this here. They're always doing this. And
They like to
you
play.
lock them in
It's like
here
my-
with us.
he's got 3. I have 2 at home. You just pick that thing up by its ears.
Nope. I get up by this. That's why they put a handle on this. Sit up here. No, I got to put the collar on. Jeez. Mr. Aggressive today.
My goodness.
Bill gave me all these stats. I mean,
Pull my hair a
there's
little harder next time, please.
Collar? You got a little collar? A little ball gag?
there's
No, I went too far on that.
there's so
I
many
got a
cool
special
things.
Flashlight.
I think we'll end up issuing about 675 was the number that I saw yesterday. Once we got all of our champions, some I guess finalized.
Right.
Made sure our points and all of our tracks and our series and everything.
Track series.
I think it was
stage,
674, 675.
Wow.
jackets that we ordered.
National Banquet at this year?
We have chips.
No casino this year.
No casino?
No.
We're going to pay them in real money?
We're going to pay him in real money.
Holy shit.
We're not going to give it out in poker chips.
Holy shit.
They get to take it home with them.
Potato chips?
I like
Potato chips.
Can we get some
Potato chips.
Get some dip though for our potato chips?
I got to keep up with Jim's jokes sometimes. I got to know where he's going. I've told him this in the past. You got to kick me under the table when it's coming.
So how does that happen when he's at home? Has he got a big leg?
True.
Or does he text you?
Yeah.
Hey, here it comes. Get ready for it.
Good point.
I'm gonna try to be
But
cool
to all
again.
of our national champions from all of us here at IMCA, we're looking forward to our banquet on Thanksgiving weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska, our reception at the Speedway Motors Museum of American Speed.
Great event. Just a
6 to 9 on
Beautiful
that.
place.
It is cool.
It
I
changes
think
every year.
it does.
It's
What
incredible.
changed so much? They had to add, what was it, 9,000 square foot or something? They had to do that thing.
That thing
Yeah,
is
big addition.
constantly got bigger.
Yep.
4 stories.
Yep. All kinds of just cool stuff.
Lunch boxes.
So we'll have our
race cars.
reception in there, complimentary food, and we actually serve beer at that event at no charge.
How about a podcast?
Maybe that's why they all come. Yeah, I think we are going to do a podcast there, aren't we?
Half hour.
Try
Yeah,
to.
we got to limit. I like to mingle there. I like
Yeah,
to
I like to
talk
mingle
to people.
too. I
and-
got to.
So it's from 6 to 9. We could do a podcast from 7 to 8.
Then you have an hour before to mingle?
But are we going to do it live?
That's a question for
I
that
don't
guy
know.
behind the glass.
No.
We tape it.
Be tape delayed.
Yeah.
We ought to do another live one coming up.
Yeah, we
did the
need
one.
to do. We
That was
did
kinda
that
fun.
one, and we could watch the people ask
Questions come in.
questions.
Yeah, we had like 4 questions last time.
Yeah.
I think all three of our viewers had 4
maybe
questions.
Wahoo would have a couple questions. that
What
he'd
would
like
Wahoo
answered.
say?
What would
Yeah.
Wahoo
I'm about
say?
ready to remove him from Snapchat. I'm on Snapchat getting his
So-
messages more than
Well, he's fine.
He's
He's
always
working.
on.
Shouldn't he be busy right now?
Yeah.
always on
He's
his
farming.
Snapchat.
What else has he
farming.
got to do?
He's got like a 42-inch TV up here in the corner of the cab, and he's always
He plants
the
it and
dude's got
watches
more
it grow.
snacks than anything.
He's probably busy right
Well,
now,
you've
though.
seen him, haven't you?
I don't know.
No,
May
he's,
not
out,
be.
he's out farming. He's
With the rain, he might not be too busy today. I think everybody's out of the fields around here, at least from what
They
I
were
gather.
working on Highway 30 when I came over there.
they've made a
That
lot of
thing-
progress on that.
Never ending. It'd be nice when it's done.
It's like Interstate 29 through Sioux
I'll
City.
be able to
Took
get an airplane.
4,000 years.
If Air Force, what is it? Air Spec 1?
Spec
Spec
Part
Part 1? If Spec Part 1 actually fails, like I fly to Boone, and since we're working on the second track over there, I'm
I
flying.
just stopped and checked it out. That's
I'm
coming
flying
along
back
pretty
and forth
nicely.
quite a bit, but
looking
the
good.
thought crosses my mind if the engine goes out of Spec Part 1, where are we going to land this thing? But when Highway 30 is completely done, we just put it on Highway 30 because
It's a continuous
you
landing
just,
strip. between here and
just
here and
right
the
down,
track.
just fly right over
Pick
the
your
top of
spot.
it.
Stay away from the casino, though.
Good point.
Uh-oh. You have to take that.
No, spam.
Ooh,
Spam.
Spam.
it's not just.
It's good.
It's just
I
not
like
for breakfast anymore.
No,
No.
I got a spam story too. I'm not going to go there.
Why not?
You know they got a spam museum.
Well, yeah, it's in like
Minnesota.
Austin, Minnesota.
Oh God.
I had a guy tell me one time you should smoke spam. Have you been to? We talked about this one, didn't we? Once
I don't think so.
somebody told me to
No,
smoke.
we never.
s-
We've talked about the bologna.
Smoke it.
Smoking bologna.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
okay,
good.
so I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
So I bought a can of spam, cut it up, and smoked it, and I'm like, yeah, no,
No.
it didn't. It still tasted like spam. I don't care how much smoke you put in it. But anyhow,
It is a delicatessen.
so yeah, so all of our champions, we've got all of our letters done. All of our
Track
champions,
champions.
track champions, series champions, state champions, regional champions, national champions. All the letters and everything have been made, and all those letters are going out of the office here in the next day or two. I think they started mailing them yesterday. They'll probably be all done, I assume, today, maybe tomorrow. So all those letters will be in the mail. So all of those champions are invited to the national banquet. That information is in the letter. So yeah, if you're planning on coming to the national banquet in Lincoln, it's at the Cornhusker Marriott downtown. Those details are in the letter. There is an IMCA group rate. We do usually sell out. The banquet usually we usually consume all the rooms that they
600
make available to us.
What that make? We use about 600 people at the banquet.
Yeah, we usually our banquet room holds 600, and we usually right to the capacity every year. So anybody who's a champion is welcome to come to our reception on Friday night at the Speedway Museum, and then obviously to the National Banquet on Saturday. Thanksgiving weekend. It's always the same time every year.
So next year's banquet's going to be
Thanksgiving weekend.
there. You go. Mark it on your calendars.
Whatever date that may be.
When do Super Nationals start next year?
In
September
August?
2nd.
Oh, okay.
August.
A lot of our
But
stuff
the date is actually September 2nd.
revolves
Labor
around
Day.
holidays.
That's Monday, but
The Prelude starts in August next year.
Yeah.
my life.
Strangely enough. Seems weird.
Sorry to change the subject, but yeah.
So if you're congratulations to all of our champions, from all of us at IMCA, and regardless of what that championship is, you'll get a recognition and a letter in the mail.
Stage.
We'd love to have you come to the banquet. If you can't come to the banquet, we mail all those awards out. You'll still get them. We don't.
But only if you go to Lincoln do you have the opportunity for Jerry to mess up your name.
Correct. If you want, yes.
Hey, and if you can't make it to Lincoln, you know what you can do?
Listen to me mess up the names on IMCA TV.
There you go. Perfect.
In fact, maybe that's something we ought to have a segment. Jerry messing up names.
It happens all the time.
I'm not going to say too much about this because it would happen to me all
We
the
could
time.
give a copy of the script to Nate, and he could put it on the screen, and we can watch how Jerry simply just does not follow it.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be fun.
Yeah, the ad lib, like
Yeah.
you put like what he was supposed to say in writing on the screen, and then
he
you just
uses
listen to
his
what
own
you
word,
actually
and he
said.
uses his own word. I mean, just
It'd be
it's
entertaining.
interesting. It is.
Jesus, Jerry, why are they so mean to you?
I know. It's not
Look at
fair.
it. You hurt his feelings, Ryan.
Oh, yeah. I'm the one who crossed the line. I see how it is,
Ryan.
Jim. Yeah. Oh,
How about a little respect for
yeah.
our guest here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Our Super Nationals champions,
Super Dave's here.
obviously, are invited as well to our national championship,
Yeah.
to our champions banquet, to our national banquet. So our Super Nationals champions, I just want to touch on them real quick. Obviously, they're racing for purses at the events. This includes the Race Saver Nationals and the Southern Sport Mod Super Nationals down at KSP. We recognize all of those champions at the banquet. We'd love to have them all come. Most of them come. Some can't. It is, again, long distance, and it's a holiday weekend. So we understand our champions on the West Coast and those out in, obviously, on the East Coast and all over the place. Those stuck in snow at the time, are unable to make
St.
it. But
Cloud.
we mail everything. But our Super Nationals, I wanted to just touch on, too, our national championship awards. All of our national champions get a free driving suit, compliments of Velocita, a custom one. At the banquet, we display a driving suit, what we call a canvas driving suit, but it's just an award at that point. But Brad gets their measurements, and then he does a custom driving suit for him. Zamp gives us helmets for our, I think they're for our Super Nationals champions. Yep. And then Bell, I believe, through Speedway Motors, I think gives away our national champion helmets, all of which go to Sabisma Graphics up in Sanborn, Iowa, up in the corner of the state, and he custom letters, vinyls, all of those helmets to the
Personalizes.
They personalize them with their names, their national championships, Super Nationals championships, and he actually customizes them to the colors of their race car. So again, these awards are pretty specific to the racers and pretty damn cool.
Rings.
And then we do rings for everybody as well. We do a championship ring for all of our national champions and all of our Super Nationals champions. So we like to have all those champions come, Super Nationals and Nationals champions come to the banquet where we can get all those awards. And they get jackets too. Speedway does a cool jacket. We're doing track mats. We're doing some really cool track mats through Kelsey Foley and Tanner Black are doing those, helping out with some of that.
Somewhere I'll find them.
The logos are all messed up. I know she struggled with the logos a little bit that we sent, but Dan's on vacation this week, so we'll get the track mats all finalized, and they'll look fantastic, I'm sure.
Maybe she could maybe pair it up with some other cool prize or something.
How does she ever do on our Lady Eagle Awards? Kelsey's raced a long time, too. She was at Super Nationals.
She's been up there before, but I don't think is.
Where's she from? Is she from the West Coast, too?
I think.
Arizona?
Yeah, she's from Arizona.
you got Taylor from the West Coast. You've got Kelsey from the West Coast. So you look
Shelby
at
out.
Shelby House from the West Coast. I don't know why they all want to move to cold weather, to be quite honest.
Well, ask Virginia your
I mean,
Yeah,
the
ask your
racing
wife.
is.
She's got
This is why I'm saying this, because I'm telling you, I pay hell when it starts getting cold. Like next week, this weekend,
Tomorrow.
Awful. Yeah.
this weekend in my household is going to be not fun. I'm kind of happy.
So
I'm-
we have had it. So we have had a couple times that it's been a little chilly. If you had to turn the furnace on yet?
Oh, I have.
I haven't turned it on yet.
Okay, good.
No way.
Have you turned it on?
No,
I'm glad I don't have the air.
I
on.
didn't.
I still
turn
have
it
the
on.
air on.
I
think
well,
I've still got the air on.
your place is like a steam.
It
bath.
is. It's awful. And thank you for not stopping by lately. I appreciate that.
That's okay. I haven't been around.
So lots of cool stuff at the banquet. We've been talking about it. We're doing rules meetings, and we'll get to that in a second. But coming to our national banquet is special. We try to make it as special as possible, just the setting alone. But it's a banquet, you know. It can be long, and in 9 divisions of cars. We usually have hundreds of racers getting awards. We're trying to pin down exactly
Everybody
how many.
walks across the stage.
Do you know what dictates the length of the banquet, though?
Jerry's talking.
No, and I'm not saying this to be rude. We do the introductions and stuff before we eat. It's how long you talk.
I didn't talk long last
No,
year.
I'm just saying that once you do that, once we start dinner, typically after dinner, we're about 90 minutes. It's not that long. The banquet really isn't that long as far as the awards presentation
Eating takes a
goes.
long time. Getting everybody
Yeah.
their food. I would say that's probably the largest part. But yeah, I probably talk
600 people.
in the past. I've probably talked more than the average.
But yes,
champion.
once we start dinner, that kind of dictates how long.
You know what my favorite part of the banquet is? Getting to your assigned table, because everybody's assigned a table. Then you have to find out what dessert.
What dessert you're going
Yeah,
to
what
sit in
dessert
front
you
of?
want, yes.
What dessert
We're always
is it?
moving them around. Just
Yeah.
like, ooh, cheesecake.
So
but the
for you-
food's always good at our banquet.
Oh, my
I mean,
gosh,
we've
great.
had
It
we've been
really
at the
is.
Cornhusker Marriott
It's been a
for
long time now.
a long time. Ever since we started doing the Speedway Museum,
Yep.
it's been at least a dozen
So
years.
for your first time banquet
15 years maybe.
attendees, that's the key. Get to your table first.
And then figure out which
Dessert
dessert
you
you
want.
want, and
Yep.
then you sit there.
Put something right on that chair.
Right.
Yep.
Or
Or just eat your dessert.
Just
when you
eat
get
the
I was
there.
dessert
just gonna
first.
say that when you sit down, eat the dessert.
Stick your fork
and then
in the
if
end
that's
of
the
it
one you
and
like. Then tell the server, "Hey, you must have forgotten."
And then
Put
once
some
once
dessert
everybody else
here.
comes to your table, you can try a different dessert. That's where you can.
Community
take a
dessert.
bite out of it, and nobody else will want it. Right?
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I am too. For dessert.
Don't look at me.
You didn't bring anything?
Nope.
I think that's all we have for national champions. Champions
You know,
recognition.
once again, I mean, it's, congratulate everybody, everybody that raced for us all year. I mean, it's we know it takes us, the commitment, the financial, the time-wise, the sacrifices it takes. And just a big thank you as we kind of wrap the year up to everybody who, makes us what we are. We're the biggest and best sanctioning body because of our racers.
I say it at the banquet at my speech usually, and winning a championship it takes an incredibly large amount of dedication. Plus, you have to be very, very talented behind the wheel of a race car. You aren't winning championships on accident, in many aspects, and very rarely do any of our champions come alone. They always have significant others that come with them.
Entourage.
Some of them have like 20 tables, like Grabowski, does at times. But
Which surprises
there's-
me.
there's a-
how
But he
can
has
a guy
that many
with
people who
friends,
like
I
him,
mean,
Jordan's a likable guy.
Yes, I like Jordan.
just like
If the track's in good shape, he's easier to talk to, at the
he's
events.
not crying about something.
Yeah. But anyhow,
That's why he's so good at the banquet. All he's got to worry about is dessert.
correct.
Which dessert am I going to eat?
Which two desserts am I going to eat?
Somebody's going to tell him you said that.
Oh, I don't care.
But yeah, winning a track championship in any capacity.
I've never won one of those before. I know a couple, but I've never won a
Combine some
tramp
words.
before.
I combine some words.
Sounds
Winning
like
a
me for a minute.
championship.
Win a train.
Winning a championship
We give those out
in
at
any
the banquet?
capacity is hard. And
We
I
give those out at the banquet. Are there?
tramps no.
So now let me ask. So if we give out
Champs,
a tramp,
yes.
is there a lady on the other end? And can we do the spaghetti thing?
You and Jim can. If you, I go get some spaghetti if you want me to.
I got some. I had some last night for dinner.
Spaghetti?
Yeah.
I think we have a ribbon.
We have a ribbon to that
Here
point
we
of the
go.
show. Here we go. It's going to go downhill.
Go.
Use your sounds. We got to have some place you can.
wait.
Don't you have something in there?
Yeah,
you
this
can...
one.
Well, yeah. Oh, Jim, did you hear it this time?
I hear it now.
First time he's heard the rim shot. Because usually he doesn't hear it at all. Remember?
That's right. You don't get
Yeah.
the sound effects.
No.
Some I do, some I don't.
That one we just don't share with you. We keep it for in-house guests only.
I can entertain myself with this thing.
One more. Give us a Halloween theme
Ooh,
sound
yeah.
effect.
You got some
Yeah.
tricks or treats?
Monster
We actually
Mash.
have the sounds. We actually have the sounds of the USRA Nationals on my board.
That sounds like there are a lot of crickets there. That must be Saturday night.
All right, I probably shouldn't have said that joke, but I think it's funny.
See,
Do you have the sound that the Great Pumpkin makes?
That's also the sounds of the one Wissota 100.
the what? That's still a thing?
Yeah,
Hey, speaking of that,
Anyhow.
Carson's here today.
Yes.
he is. Carson is here today,
Want
working
me to
on
go
our
get him
rules,
as we talk about that?
right? In IMCA rules. Yeah, want to talk about rules?
Yeah.
We
Or
might as
Carson.
well. You guys have been talking about it for 2 days and behind closed
Hey,
doors and
it's-
lights off.
The process over the years has got much more refined, and I definitely have to thank Dave for that. Is
There's a process.
there is.
Next, there's
is
a
a
process for this podcast,
Oh
too.
my God.
Again, we've been through how many comp directors in the last 25 years? 4 or 5, from Bob to Tom Herbert to Tom Gutowski
Bill
to
Swanzinger.
Swanzinger to obviously to Dave. And, we've added divisions. Obviously the only division we really don't actively do anything with from a rule standpoint is Race Saver, and that
That's what
continues.
Roger and French is for.
Yep, Roger and French work on that stuff, and they put it on their website and let us know when they're ready to go, and we try to notify everybody of that. But we've got the mod lights obviously the last few years, and Jimmy, I think Dave and Jimmy have been discussing it this morning on any concerns that Jimmy has. And with the mod light division, it's a little different because we're trying to some extent word those rules the same, but in our terms, so they're consistent with other divisions. And I talked about that last year. Safety rules and things like that. Mm-hmm. Issues with Hans devices and neck collars and things like that we've addressed with mod lights, or have to address with mod lights, that were a little different from our other divisions. But the other divisions where we're writing the rules, the other 7 divisions of cars, we've been working on them the last day and a half as a group around here, and we should have them done. We are hoping today, which is October 26th. I don't know when Nate will post this today or tomorrow. So we should. We're planning on having our rules out somewhere within the next, I would say, 1 to 2 weeks. So for us, that'll be a little early. We usually release them around Thanksgiving, around the banquet time. So
In conjunction
Used to
with
be
that.
the newsletter the third Thursday in November.
We'd bring
Yep.
the newsletter to the banquet with us, and that's where people would.
yeah, but with races like obviously with Kokopah and
Yep.
and starting a little earlier this year than we had many years ago. So we try to get the rules all ready to go in a timely manner, especially if there's any significant changes. I don't really anticipate much of that, and we could have Dave come in here and talk about if we wanted to. But
I'm already having a hard time staying awake, so I'm good.
I don't know if it's
That could be its
necessary, so,
own podcast.
yeah.
Want me to go get him?
Okay.
Go.
We could Rochambeau for rules. I mean, people think we do some weird things when it comes to rules,
I thought you
or
just
that are
flipped a coin or
that are
rolled dollar bills or something.
pitch quarters
Well,
to
it's
the
dollar
wall.
bills, but-
Closest quarter wins. Pick the rule you don't want no more. Stuff like that.
I have a pocket full of quarters.
But it's really a much more refined process than it was, I think, since I started here for sure. But over the last 10 years, since Dave is filled the comp role, our director of competition, that he's pretty good at documenting things as we go along for the year. We make notes throughout the year, and he compiles them all. Then he comes to the meeting. Probably the only complaint I have is he doesn't give us enough notice on what he's got on the agenda. But it's enough notice for us to at least be prepared.
Or when he puts something on there early in the season, we get to the notes.
We don't remember why it's on.
Yeah, we do have those moments. What the hell is this on here for?
Yeah.
But
Hey,
But generally speaking, it's uneventful from the rule standpoint. So we hope to have them out, I would say, within the first week in November, I think.
That's
Gives
cool.
people plenty of time. That's a couple of months before Kokopah's first race for next year. And again, in most of those divisions, I don't think we have any significant changes. Nothing
that's
that's,
perfection.
nothing that's going to be
done or
terribly
what?
I'll go
alarming.
get Dave.
You can get Dave. Yeah,
Okay.
why don't you go get him?
Walk through all these dogs here.
Why don't you grab Carson too? Then Jerry can leave.
What's that? No, that's why I'm leaving.
Sorry, Jerry. All in fun. Oh, you just lost your. Oh. Yep.
Joey's going to go help Jim.
It's only
Jim
Joey
needs help.
can. Nothing else on
All right,
your,
now that Jim's gone,
your
let's
list.
talk about him.
No, I mean, there's just so much stuff, so many champions. I see names on here, and I see very familiar names, and then I see people I've never met, and lots of names that I'm not familiar with.
I always, I tell everybody, people are like, oh, the Banquet. I go, if you've won a track champ, especially if it's your first one,
Right.
take that in. Take it in. You worked, you started in January working on your, or whenever you started working on your car, and then you started racing, and you went all season long and committed to that. And if that's your first track championship, that's just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, to
When your
celebrate
track has
there.
a banquet, you go to it.
Right.
When IMCA has one, it's neat because it is an experience. It's something that not everybody always gets to do.
Those are the mascots, podcast mascots.
Yeah, they can stay.
They can stay in.
They can go out. The girls will take care of them too. Door goes closed.
Yeah, close the door.
It's for the sound.
Did you separate them? Well, we aren't going to have any more jokes with Dave sitting here.
Really? This
Yeah,
is
put
like
the headphones
This
on
is
so
a
you
fresh
can hear.
batch. What do you say?
This is an all new kind of jokes.
Yeah.
You okay? You gonna make it?
We need
I know it's not your first time
Do
here.
we need a shorter chair for you?
No, we need to get a high chair for him.
Do you need
A
a booster
booster.
seat?
Booster.
I'm going to need a tissue from the nosebleed. Hang
Put
on.
the headphones on.
Yeah, I got it.
Put your phone down.
What'd you say about no jokes? I think we have a fresh crop of jokes.
We do, kind of.
Let her rip, boys.
Talk into the microphone now.
Trying to silence
This
my
is a
phone.
microphone, Dave.
I know exactly what it is. My first job at the racetrack was the announcer, by the way.
What?
No
Here-
way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
was.
pit PA announcer? Or
I was like
Yeah.
the infield guy, and I did things from the infield because we still pitted cars in the infield then.
I thought you meant like
where was that?
Like track
I thought you were the
announcer.
track announcer. Like, man, he just knocked the shit out of him. That's just what he said.
Can we say that?
Well, I could just see him saying that.
Oh.
Yeah, I did the Victory Lane interviews and that kind of stuff.
Really?
That's right.
I didn't.
Wow.
It's like Wade Unger with no accent,
No, not quite.
kind
Wade
of.
with
That
no
might be
accent.
your opinion, but I don't.
You haven't seen it yet. Never say never.
Dave's
I
got a
think-
whole nother
I
side.
think next year,
We have
Super
Dave
Dave is going to guest infield appearance.
There you go.
Telling you.
Other than with his.
We could put him in the
Band.
booth.
When I retire, I am going to work for Nate. He
We'll
doesn't
put him
know
in the
that yet.
booth during the compacts.
That's
You
right.
want
Do
to
you,
call
think
a
you, do you
race?
think you could?
I could-
think you could find altered engines and compacts from the booth
Less
just
D-
by
less
listening and
DQs.
watching?
The
Let me
Dave's in the
say,
booth.
Yeah, a lot of credit goes to the tech people, and particularly guys like Randy Andreessen, who did a lot of research in that, and him and I went back
Oh, he
and
loves
forth.
that
and-
division.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, he
Yeah.
loves
That's
those
his favorite
cars.
class.
I love the
Yeah.
I love the
Well,
compacts.
he's like a GM mechanic or some sort of a
Right.
service
Yeah,
mechanic
he's been,
somewhere.
yeah, he's been in the car.
A
business.
very
he's got-
diverse group of people with
Yeah.
a variety of skills and knowledge, which really helps with compact because it's such a variety of cars.
I remember one year where somebody said to me, "I can't believe you got that girl out there attacking cars. She shouldn't even be out there." And I'm like, she's like a licensed diesel mechanic for Mercedes or something like that.
Oh no, yeah, she's a.
Yeah.
And so the things that people say to us in the heat of the moment, those situations. But I chuckle when she isn't even qualified to DQ me. She don't know what she's doing out there. I'm like, well,
let's see.
It's easy to be sexist and misogynistic.
It's a
when you're in
little.
bad mood.
That's right.
yeah.
It's a little
It's easier
entertaining.
to point the finger at the other person when you've done wrong.
It's entertaining when she, like we're in a post race tech then or something. We're like, take the carburetor off, take this part, and I'll do this. And they're just looking at her like, okay, you? And they're like, yeah, me. So, no. Again, a lot of diversity in our group, different areas of the country. We had 9 states at Super Nationals, I think. So,
In the tech area.
yeah, it's tech
correct.
officials.
Tech officials, right. So those people take what they learn home,
We had two
and
less.
then we take what they know
Yeah.
and add it to our.
Bring it to the sport
We had
compact.
two less states of drivers there, though. There was more tech representation.
Sure.
In the compacts? Down, boy.
Yes. Way to go, Dave.
Yeah. Jim's out there.
They keep you from getting killed, Jerry.
Yeah. They're protectors
The
of
crowd gets unruly or
they're
something.
protectors of the house at home.
Yeah.
So we were talking about rules a little bit, Dave. We talked about banquet stuff. All right, Jim, that's enough.
Jim's trying to get him riled up.
We talked about banquet a little bit in our championship stuff. We kind of transitioned into rules a little bit, and that's why Jim went and grabbed you. Why don't you just kind of like, as quickly as you can possibly do, explain this process?
And yet you don't think I could be the announcer. Not short on words 1 minute.
Go
and the
back
next
to
minute.
your when
But
you
yeah,
had
let her rip.
30-second interview for the heat race winner. Sum it up in 2
Yeah.
words.
The guy who's windy is transferring over to the guy who's even windier to tell him to keep
How
it
many-
short.
How many years have you been coming to Super Nationals, Dave?
23, I think. I think it's 2000.
that sounds about
Might have
right.
been 01, but I think it was 2000. Might have been 01 because in 2000 I worked for Chuck at Salina and I was the infield announcer. Yeah.
So were
Yes.
you like just like a normal tech guy?
Yeah.
Then?
I didn't take anything the first year. And then I'm talking about at Salina.
That's
Then when I came to Super
So
Nationals.
I'm at Super National.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even work the infield the first year. I did all pre-tech and post-race tech, if I remember right. But I don't think I ever went to the infield.
Back when we had pre-tech, when we could pre-tech.
Right.
Could you imagine doing that now?
Yeah, we didn't have 1,017 cars in 2000.
There were times 10 years ago we thought it was pretty brutal to pre-tech. And then an hour later you raced till someone got the hour of the morning, and then even if the racing was over early, tech still went on. It was long, long days. So not having pre-tech for the tech inspectors, big deal to get some sleep and a lot easier to get along
Those
with.
years we got done at 5:56 in the morning.
I
Time
remember
to
coming
tech
out
it
and the
over.
sun was coming up.
Yeah, we had a couple of years like
That's
that.
when we started at midnight. God bless the guy who decided just to wait till the next morning at 8 o'clock, though. That was the smartest decision as far as rain and what we're going to do about it is why don't we just race twice in the same day instead of midnight? So
Yeah.
I remember going out, we're walking on the infield, and my buddy Davey then, and he was like, if you'd have told me ever that we'd be wandering out here at 8 o'clock and about to start the races, I would have told you how stupid you were.
Crazy.
Yeah, got to do what you got to do.
Do you have one particular moment at Super Nationals, like one time that stands out as like the one you remember the most?
Not really, because the racers change, and over time the divisions have changed. So many years ago, some of these divisions didn't exist, and so to compare one to the other, it doesn't matter to me. The races in general, working races, whatever you do to work the races, I think no matter what, something really cool always happens, right?
Yep.
And as something really cool comes out at the end, and for all the BS you could deal with, and all the personalities and attitudes of competitive people and whatnot, pays off at the end. There's a certain satisfaction of working at the races versus probably the thrill of racing at the races. But as things change over time, then the thing that you remember changes over time too. But it's still people. Cars don't win races. People win races, and we all walk away from the cars. But you need it. Got to have one.
What's the goofiest thing you've seen in the tech? The strangers.
Man, people ask me that all the time. It'd be more likely, what's the scariest thing you ever saw in tech?
Remember that one year at pre-tech when Wiener Woken come rolling through with a passed out girl in the passenger seat of his car?
I do not remember that. And I never saw that girl before in my life.
She was from your area.
It's a big area.
Yes.
There's a lot going on out
Western
there.
Kansas has a lot.
Yeah, Super Nationals provides a lot of interesting memories for us all. Not just about the racing, but to me, it's behind the scenes stuff that usually ends up sticking in my mind the most. You know, the interesting things, the fun we have, and the not so fun times. The rain of certain years, and then some of the decisions, and then some of the DQs, and then some of the races do stand out. But then
I remember some guy in the middle of the night, and he had a hobby stock. I hadn't been coming very many years, and he got DQ'd for ported heads, and he's screaming at Brett, "Oh, I have your job." And Brett's like, "You could have it right now."
I had the one where the kid said, "I want to talk to your boss." Like,
Yeah.
You don't want to go wake her up right now.
this is back when Tom Herbert worked for IMCA. He said, "I want to talk," and I walked into the Tech 10, and he was disqualified. A Boone local guy, I won't bring his name up, for a ported head. And so, Tom's standing there, and I'm standing there, and he says to Tom, he says, "I want to talk to your boss." And Tom looks at me, and he goes, "Well, he's right there." He goes, "I want to talk to Lottie."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm not in charge. But whatever.
The one thing I like about
settings are-
working here, too, is you can get to the top pretty fast if that's what you need.
Yeah, you can.
And I tell them, if you don't like it, you can always call the boss. It's in the office virtually every day, but there's more than one way to reach him. And so it's not like you're separated from the customers, or the racers or racetracks or anything. Like, you're exposed, and but I think that's a real positive. It's not.
We're all accessible, though.
That's
I think
right.
that's one of the benefits of sanctioning with IMCA
Right.
is the people who are making the decisions or the people who are answering the questions. We're like, people ask me, what do you do at IMCA? I said, well, we're like the race car police. I think I've said that before, but we're more than that. We're like the police, and we're like the judge and the jury. There's from law enforcement. They've got
Counselor.
right, and so
Yeah.
we're like all those layers too. We're all wrapped up in
I don't-
one in the racing
Or,
world.
parole officer.
I don't just tell them what's wrong,
writer.
right?
Yeah.
After you tell them what's wrong, then you got to tell them what's right, because you want them to come back, right? We just don't go, "Oh, that's wrong, read the rule," and wander off. Well, like I said, counselor. And I'm like, "Oh, cut it off." "Oh, you want me to do that now?" I'm like, "If you flipped it in the heat, there'd be 6 guys over here helping you put this car back together. Find 2 of them and have them fix what needs to be fixed, and let's get on with it." So
Yeah, disqualifying racers to me is like one of the worst experiences that
It is.
of our what we do, and that's we enforce rules, so it's going to happen. But
Yeah,
it is like
a boon. You watch them be there,
Literally
they're
the-
here, and then all of a sudden you just.
oh yeah, the crash.
Well, no, like when you have to.
That's what I mean.
They just go, and they become so deflated that it's like, "Wow, my week's
Right.
over." No, your week's not over. Just
And it sucks to
Fix
be
it,
that
go.
guy. It sucks to be the guy to break that news to him.
yeah.
But we're not giving
But you
it
do
away.
it well, Dave.
You think so? I
sometimes your delivery is spot.
You handle
Very
handle
well.
those situations very well.
I try not to
It's a hard situation for anybody to be in,
I mean,
regardless
it's
of
not
the.
like you walk up and went, "Gotcha."
You're
That's right.
More like
There-
to educate and inform them than you are to.
That's right. So Lou from Sioux City, educate and regulate.
Yep.
So as much as we can, we try to educate them every way we can. We have a lot of avenues for that. And then even if you DQ them and stuff, to tell them what to do to fix it sometimes. And particularly if they're new, like in a compact, the compact kids, you got to explain it to them. This is why you can't do that, and this is why we do that. Not everybody knows the history of the division or IMCA or anything else, or even racing. How did you come to this conclusion? Look, this stuff has been developed over years, and decades. It just happened yesterday. So sometimes I have to explain that too.
Yeah.
But I much prefer to prevent it. I'd rather have 0 DQs. I'd rather get paid to watch the races.
We were having this conversation yesterday about how the rules seem to, I don't know if recycle was the word that you used yesterday, but
Cyclical.
it's cyclical because you have people who race. Well, the average racer statistically that we have races about 7 years. start to finish. And so every 7 years, you got to figure you're going to lose that individual, and it's going to be replaced with somebody, maybe that is attached to them somehow. Like children, we see a lot of people that are, when I started IMCA, the guys who are my age have all got kids now that are like Alyssa's age. They're in their 20s. Yeah, they're in their mid-20s, and their kids are racing, or their grandkids are starting to race because they're 14. So you start seeing the baton being passed to other people in their family. But then you also 20% of our membership every year rotates. So the average racer lasts 7 years, but about 20% pretty consistently of our membership every year is not going to be a membership the following year. So, people ask us why you don't change rules all the time, or why don't you do this, why don't you do that? If you lose 20% of the membership every year, do the math. It takes 5 years, and your membership is gone. So if those racers don't have somebody to sell that equipment to, if they don't pass it on to somebody else, whether it be a family member or something like that, or if they don't sell it to somebody that can't use it, then they're gone. And you don't replace them, or you don't at least, replace them is probably the best word.
Then every year if you make a new rule, then it's, I got to go buy this. And now all of a
correct.
sudden you've got stuff from 7 years ago that paperweight, throw it, and let's see what we get for scrap out of it because we can't use it anymore.
Regardless of any rule decisions that we're making at IMCA, you've got people that get divorced. You have people that have children. You have people that change jobs. You have people that buy houses.
Yeah, people that leave and come back.
That's the 20%. People we see it all the time. We'll be like, I wonder where that person go, and then somebody say, oh, well, that he got married, or oh, they had a kid, or whatever it may be. So you lose the membership. You lose those racers just from natural life.
Yeah, it's like I say, sometimes life gets in the way.
And some of the consequence of that is the new people all have new ideas or new thoughts or something, or they think they invented something new, but we've seen it for the last 2 generations cycle in and cycle back out. That's why sometimes they don't just pull the trigger on a rule, because sometimes it's self-policing. Like, what are we going to do here? Like, oh, let's see what happens. And it comes and it goes. Yeah. And then the racers come and go. And so you find yourself telling the same story again a few years later to the new people, like that you just told to people 5 years before and 5 years before that.
Same exact thing 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So bell-bottom jeans are cool again? Is that what you're saying?
Somewhere.
I'm not so sure they're ever cool, but when I was a kid, I remember that.
Well, they came back. I mean,
they have, I think, a little bit.
Now they're called like boot cut or ultra boot cut.
Never going to be that cool, Jerry. That's all I can tell you.
Can you imagine Super Dave walking the infield in bell bottoms?
Nope.
We could do that for Throwback Thursday.
Dang straight, we could get a big.
Get him some disco pants.
Some white ones with a big flange bottoms and some sparkles.
Yeah.
I think I said this in one of the podcasts. One of the this last Supernationals. One of the moments that stuck in my mind that entertained me the most is when Wade and you guys were trying to entertain people. I think it might have been before the stock car race or before the big dance or before the mod big dance, and he started playing YMCA. They started playing YMCA and everybody started singing it. And every time I hear that song, everywhere I go, I think YMCA, oh gosh, because it just.
Well, see, that's something that, like Dave said, with stuff. I mean, we did that years ago.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it just kind of changed trends. And then it was like,
new again.
Yeah,
old is new. And
so my YMCA experience. So as my first year as the pit announcer.
Was this at a disco club in Dodge
This
City?
was at Salina Speedway in Salina, Kansas. The guy up top was a radio DJ, and he was our announcer. He was very good at it. And I was in the infield, and he kind of had me pinned down there, right? Like, where was I going to go? Everybody can see me, and there's nowhere to hide. And so he decides going to play the YMCA. And then he's like, come on, Dave, let's do the YMCA. And so I'm down there doing it, as best I can, but I'm not thrilled.
You didn't do the C backwards, did you?
No.
Okay.
But next week, he's like, we doing the YMCA again? But I was already ahead of him, and I'd already picked out a handful of hot girls from the grandstand. I opened the gate, and they all came down on the front straightaway, and then they did it. And then the next week, there was all these other people and all these kids, and it became a big deal during the intermission to come down and do the YMCA on the front straightaway, which was great, but it also got me out of doing it. So once.
Good times.
It was once, twice, 3 times a lady.
Who's ordering the bell bottoms?
Yellow.
You want yellow?
To go with yellow Throwback Thursday. That conversation was going on my tech group today.
Why did they bring up bell bottoms?
Yabba dabba doo.
Can we get the boots with the fur, though? Or
Sure.
It started with the tote full of those yellow shirts is out there, and I took a picture of it, and I sent it to the tech group from Super Nationals, and I said, if I just kind of push this out the door to the dumpster, you think anybody would notice?
They hate wearing them.
Are you Googling yellow bell bottoms?
damn right I am.
So, yeah,
I'm just going to go straight to
This.
Amazon.
this is where we're going next.
Son of a biscuit! I found them right here. $39.95 on the Amazon.
Yellow.
Hey, we got to have fun at Super Nationals.
That's right. If you don't,
We're
somebody
just
will
like
get,
everybody else there.
you don't,
Son
someone will
of a
get choked.
biscuit, Dave. Look
What's
at
that?
these things.
We always say if you got to keep everybody laughing, or somebody's going to get choked.
Go to
knows?
go to Amazon.
Who knows what he's got for pictures on his phone?
Yeah, might have opened Pandora's box there.
Well, both of you do.
Yeah.
I can promise you don't want to see on my phone.
Oh, I've seen what's on your phone. Why? So we're at an hour, and Jim,
Jim misses us.
he got the has Jim got the
So-
shakes out in the production booth?
So Dave has been burning the midnight oil when it comes to rules. You know, he brought in a pretty good list of things that we discussed. Some of the things it's a great idea. And this has been going on. Yeah, we're going to change that. And a lot of them are like, now we're not going to mess with that.
Sometimes I draw a line through it before I ever get here, and we don't even ever talk about it.
Yes, me
After
too.
I read
Sometimes
it,
I draw. I'm like, nope, that ain't going to happen.
when I read it again, I'm like, oh, this is stupid. Just mark it off now. You never see it.
But the rules, I guess, what to take from this rule conversation is that the rules all come from somewhere. They all have a foundation, usually. We don't make them up. It's like the wheel rule. People think that the only reason we have the wheel rule is so we can put stickers on wheels. And the reality is that that's not how that happened. The reality is that the wheels were unsafe.
Right.
And to keep them safe and to keep them on race cars and out of pit areas and out of jumping fences and everything else, the wheel standards were put in place, and we have to enforce it, whether it be us or SFI.
That's that cycling and the membership they've forgotten.
They have.
They weren't here. We guys are trying to blow their arms and heads off, getting a tire mounted on a big bead wheel.
Or rip the centers out of a lightweight wheel. There was a
That's
lot of
right.
things going on when that rule came about in the mid-'90s. I worked at a wheel company at the time that rule. I didn't actually work in IMCA, so I can't be blamed for the decals. Jim's the one that gets to blame for the decals.
But there's a
He was
reason
here.
for
I
a lot
wasn't.
of that, and we don't have to relive it again to find out.
Correct. We're not going to revisit those things. People they wonder why. Well, do you really need that rule anymore? The answer to that would be yes, because I think that the manufacturers, the product manufacturers, they can be just as cyclical as anybody else. And they pull this back and things get changed. So 19-pound steel rule with a center that's strong, that doesn't rip the center out. There's all kinds of reasons why the wheel rule makes sense, but sometimes people forget that. Every rule has
A reason.
a basis or a foundation. And lots of times people call me to ask me what that is, or they'll ask Dave or Jim or us that are out at races, and we try to explain that. We try to be transparent when it comes to this stuff. There's not a lot of secrets. I don't think. I mean,
Yeah, there's my answer to the gray area. That people are like, well, I thought in the gray area. I was like, there's no gray area.
the gray area, like the
It's-
guy that had the pull bar that wasn't a pull bar; it was a push
It was pulling on something, but not pulling on
lift
it,
arm.
right?
It wasn't a lift arm.
lift arm.
It was a reverse lift arm.
It was still lifting it up, no matter what he thought.
Yeah.
But there's
And that just happened, a couple weeks ago?
right. That just happened. So what happened is, as you grow and
You
as
should have brought that picture because it's interesting.
as you
But-
expand, you got people that haven't lived our history,
Right.
Right. So they're new to the game. They're excited to be here, and now they dive in. How am I going to beat the rule and all that kind of stuff sometimes, and it's just natural. But
I think one of the best things that you say is trying to, don't beat the rules, beat the other racers.
that's right. Stop trying to beat the rules.
Stop trying to beat the rules. I think that's know what you own. I like when you say that, and I like to stop trying to beat the rules. I think those are great things that racers can take out of what our perspective is when it comes to how we're dealing with all this stuff. And
Nate, did you find that
9 different
pants?
divisions.
These are the pants
Well,
right here for.
oh, yes.
For Throwback Thursday,
Lord.
Super Dave.
I want a pair of
Do you-
white
hey,
ones.
Can you rotate that to show what it would look like from the back? You just grab the one picture.
I want a pair of white ones like that.
I think they have them in white too.
They
I'd
have
wear
a
white.
variety of colors.
Yes,
on
they
the
have a
ones, yeah.
variety. Hang on, Nate's gonna.
All right.
Be the only guy.
Jim's going to jump back in and tell some jokes, Dave. We'll be back. We'll be done in a couple minutes. We'll
Right on.
finish up the rules.
The rules.
Thank you.
The rules meeting will continue tomorrow.
Right on.
Dave doesn't get enough credit.
He'll be sitting here by himself.
Dave definitely doesn't get enough credit for what he brings to the table
But he is
at
going to get credit
IMCA.
for them pants
It's
for all
been
the tech inspectors. Look at that, Dave.
Oh.
Look at that. See, it's even
Yeah.
got pockets.
It's not happening. Not happening. I'll be the only
looks like 2 bananas.
Dave, it's either those pants or a banana hammock. Which one would you like to wear?
I gotta make
Or a
this,
bungee smuggler from
make this a big boy
Budgie.
chair again.
Bungee Smuggler.
Budgie smuggler.
All right.
We'll pull the table.
Do you have some more
apart.
jokes, Jim?
What did you learn
No,
when you
no,
were
no,
gone?
no. Hey, before we wrap this shenanigans up,
Is it raining?
I just really want to give out a big thank you, a shout out to
shit out?
shit out.
Shit out. It's like a tramp. It's like a championship.
You know
a
what?
championship and a shit out.
You know what? There's somebody shit out of luck, but it's not us. The board up at Dakota Speedway in Mandan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we have picked up some sanctions. We haven't
some
even
stock car
hardly
action going on.
finished.
Yes,
We haven't even hardly finished this
they
racing
have
season.
Made the switch to the good guys.
From street stocks to stock cars.
Correct. And as a reward, I get to go to the banquet Saturday night.
Yeah, he's gonna go up in the snow.
But I
Take your
really,
snowmobile
Are you going to
boots.
pick up Carson on the way? You're going to snowmobile together, get up on a 2-up Polaris or something?
but I no, I really want to
He's gonna
thank.
bobsled in. He's
Dumb
gonna
and
borrow
Dumber-
your dogs.
Dumb and Dumber going up there.
Watch out, Jerry. Thank the board, Bubba, the guys on the board up there. It's it's a tough decision, but a decision obviously that we
Well,
think.
I think anytime you get in a region that has, I mean, we talked, you take like Wisconsin up around 141 where they've got that street stock division up there. I mean, you've got a lot of those guys, but they don't, they don't want to kind of conform or switch. So, everybody's kind of got to be on board.
At the end of the day, I think this was an easy decision,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but a tough one for the board. And I really want to thank them guys. I mean, any of these tracks that have boards like that, you talk about a thankless job. I mean, and they do such a good job. They're so important to keeping that racing going up in that whole area up there.
That's crazy. You get up that way and it's a board. It's not like a promoter. I mean, there's
Yep.
7 or 9 people on the board that get paid zero.
Everybody's got their own
Everybody
job
has their own-
responsibilities
yep.
and ass chewings to take.
I think a track can be run with a board. I mean, I couldn't imagine trying to run a sanctioning body with a board or in a situation like that. But I think
We're
tracks,
kind of a similar setting to that. I mean, you and I don't agree on everything, and you and I and Dave don't agree on everything, and
I don't agree with anybody on anything.
but the decisions that
Not even me?
No.
Oh, especially me.
the different perspectives that boards bring to racetracks can be very challenging for us to deal with, for sure, because a lot of them are attached to race cars, own race cars, their kids race, whatever it may be. So it always throws up. This is the time of year as we wrap up 2023, the end of the year with our championships and all that stuff. It kind of enters what we call the silly season for us. We're going to go to PRI. We're going to go to Reno. We hit all of WARPA. We hit all of the major, what we consider to be the major trade shows across the United States.
As a sanctioning body, if
It's
you're not there, I think that just shows that you're not a real part of this industry.
Yeah, I don't know if necessarily, obviously the racers, they see us at events. They don't see us at WARPA. They don't see us at Reno. They don't see us a lot of them see us at PRI, which reminds me, at PRI this year, we're going to display again, like we always have, booth 3709, right beside Speedway, I assume. Same location we've been for many years.
The big ass video board.
We'll have our video board showing our videos that Nate and the IMCA TV team create for us all year long, which is
Is that going to be like
also kind of popular.
The video board going to be like multiple TVs together or one big TV?
We have 8 TVs that we put together as part of our trade show display, which is pretty cool. I've always wanted to.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We do have a
You just take
Jumbotron.
the Jumbotron, and then you can lift it in the air, and then let it circle around so everybody sees.
There's restrictions on how that video board, how high it can go.
It'd be like the
Sticking
search
rules.
lamp.
Yeah, we don't follow rules.
Yeah,
PRI don't need no rules.
Yeah, we don't make them, so why should we follow them?
But PRI will have our rules to distribute for those who want to pick them up there. They'll be posted well before that. That'll be 5 weeks out or whatever it may be. But we're also going to probably give special gifts this year at PRI to anybody who's an IMCA racer that
Banquet,
attends.
too.
We're going to give some special gifts at the banquet this year as well. Things that you're not going to be able to get necessarily
Exclusive
for our
to
champions
banquet
at our banquet.
participants.
So if you attend a national banquet, you're going to get something that other
Nobody else
champions
gets.
that don't attend are going to get. Correct. That's
So
the
you're
plan.
telling me if I am a champion and I come to the banquet, and the guy that's a champion
It doesn't
in a
come to the
different
banquet.
class at that same track isn't going to get that award. That
If
special
he doesn't go to
thing.
the banquet.
If he doesn't go to the
come
banquet.
Banquet.
Yep.
Wow.
Just for the banquet to
Jerry,
participate.
you being a champion's kind
So
of hard
attending-
to.
I've used it in the biblical sense, not the, I could win nothing.
But once again, a big thank you to
Yeah.
the board up at Williston.
Yeah, we picked
not
up
Will-
some sanctions. We
Mandan.
picked up a stock car sanction in Mandan. I think we've added a mod sanction at Wilmot.
Yep.
I think it's
Yep.
coming back. We haven't had Wilmot sanction for 20 years.
We'll have to go to Bill on that one.
Yeah, it's been since the late 90s. So we're adding some sanctions. It's that time of year where everybody's working on schedules already for next year. So, again,
We didn't officially name our champions to the 23rd, but yet we're picking up tracks before our champions have been
Correct.
officially named.
they overlap a little bit. But you look at places like Beaver Dam. Again, that's what we could talk about this forever. But look
Yeah,
at Beaver
actually,
Dam that wasn't sanctioned for many years. We did a little bit at Dodge County in Beaver Dam way back when, about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But
I was talking to Jack there last weekend, and I said, "Hey, how'd that go up there?" He says,
Oh my God!
"He goes,
look at their special.
and he was just kind of nonchalant. Well, we averaged about 90 cars and this
On a
and that.
Tuesday
And I
night.
go, but Jack, that was on a Tuesday night. Well, yeah, but it was like it was not like that was the norm.
Yeah.
I go, that's a Tuesday night program, which is Tuesday is normally like a special events kind of night, not something you would do
Right.
every Tuesday night.
And they ran a good, quick show.
yeah,
And
you usually start by 7:30, done by 10.
yep.
9:30, sometimes 9 o'clock, depending on how everything went.
Speaking of the silly season, I see Park Jefferson has a day
Announced
change.
they're switching
Going
to
to Thursdays.
Thursday
nights.
nights. Yeah, so it's on. It's that time of year for where we're trying to figure out what everybody's plans are, what they're trying to do. It's a little bit. It's the silly season for us around here, but it also creates challenges. I think Jim thrives on some of that stuff. I do. No. I do a little bit.
Wilmot 2005.
2005. So it's been
19
almost
years, 19
yeah,
years.
18 years. But Beaver Dam kind of switched, obviously this year, and their special at the end of the year was fantastic. So you had like 40 cars in each class or something like that. It was very well attended. So racetracks deserve that kind of stuff. Racers deserve to have good events, well-run events at the end of the year, even obviously throughout the year.
I mean, even
Higher paying purses, things like that, and to see a lot of those IMCA events at the end of the year this year were very, very well
look
attended.
at last weekend. I mean, you had McQuoketa with about 220 some odd cars.
220, yeah.
You had
Park Jefferson with 164.
You had Dennis in Crawford County,
Yeah, like 1.
23.
Yeah, on a Sunday.
It's not like they had 80; they had 123.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on a Sunday for Denison, which is normally not their
No.
their night. But it just, the weather worked perfect. I mean, it was a great weekend.
Once again,
And I think a lot of racers know coming into this time of the season, this is my last chance.
Yep.
And the race fan.
But it's good to see a lot of the IMCA tracks ending up on a strong note. It's good for the promoters to see that, and racers and fans.
It is, and it gets back to what we talked with Dave in the room with rules and how we arrive at what rules we arrive at, the consistency of our rules, our unwillingness in many instances to change them. And when we do change them, we like to have basis for those changes, and you just look at it. Just brings stability, I think, to the whole system, and I think
Consistency, stability, and it really shows that.
I think the racers, a lot of them, a lot of racers. I always tell people, you got three groups of racers. You got racers that will not race IMCA. I don't care what we do for rules; it don't matter. They'll say shit about us now, and if we change the rule,
you
that
could say,
they
bring your car the way it is.
they ain't gonna race,
and you're legal. And
You've got that group of individuals. That's
tracks
fine.
that do that.
You've got the group of individuals that are on the other end of the spectrum where they'll race nothing but IMCA. and there's a lot of guys out there that are like that.
And we call them the smart ones.
And then you have a lot of them in between that racers don't want to be put in the middle of politics between sanctions. They don't want to be put in the middle of politics between promoters. They don't want to be put in the middle of politics between other racers. They just want to come race and have fun.
Yeah, they want to focus on their program and just race.
Exactly. So, those three groups are always going to exist in our world, obviously. But, I'd like to think that, when we stay course on what our goal here is as a sanction, that at the end of the year specials and even some of the weekly shows and things like that, that's all reflected by the attendance and what racers choose to do. Our membership this year remains as strong as it's ever been, and I can't thank the tracks, especially the tracks, the Mandans of the world, guys like you, Jerry, and at Marshalltown, and you just look at the facilities across the United States that are known for IMCA racing, and many of them do very, very well, and they're supported by very, very loyal racers, and it's a really cool thing to be a part of. So,
you take a look at Marshalltown. It's been an IMCA sanctioned racetrack since 1984.
Yeah.
It's one of the longest, and it's got to be one of the longest in the state.
Oh yeah.
It's
Independence, Boone, Marshalltown.
Those three are the
Webster City.
Huh?
Is that from Sunday?
And the podcast on crickets,
Is that from Sunday?
I guess. So anyhow, let's wrap it up. Again,
It's been an hour, 20 minutes.
it's been probably too long.
15.
1:15 is what producer Nada said.
We got rules to finish.
We got rules to
Yeah.
finish
Rules
to get posted. Wrap it up, Mr. Jerry.
Come on, Jerry.
There it is. So thanks for joining us. We still do not know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Unless Jim went to a place at the office, we have no idea and is not telling us. So, hey, there's a lot of, it's still, like we said, still some great racing going on IMCA TV. Make sure if you can tune on in and do that. And don't forget that replay pass. You can go back for 30 days. Watch everything that's archived on IMCA TV. For 30 days for $24.99. And, of course, parts of those proceeds go back into the drivers that are at those events that you purchase. So we do thank and appreciate you.
My God, this is the longest goodbye in the history of man. Do you ever stop
Wrap
talking,
it up, Jerry. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.
Goodbye.